Good morning and once again welcome to my YouTube channel, Pearson and Excel International Maths. This is a continuation of IGCSE coverage of syllabus, and we are still studying graph 6, and we are on page 132, where we are trying to understand the reciprocal graphs. And very first, we should be able to know that a reciprocal function is of the form y. A reciprocal function is of the form y is equals to a over x, where a is a constant and this one is a variable. Constants and variables are not new to us. Constant doesn't change and variable keep changing. And as such, the graph of a reciprocal produces a curve called hyperbola. And hyperbola is a special curve that does or do not touch the axis at all. We will see an example in this. The graph of a hyperbola is the graph of a special curve, and of course not necessarily touching the x or y axis, but taking a specific shape. We shall see that in an example. If we talk about y is equals to 1 over x, I'd want to think that we may have x and y here. When x is a minus, let's say 4, minus 2, we could have 0, we could have a 2, we have a 4. Not that I'm ignoring the others, just want to get a clear picture. When x is a minus 4, so y becomes over minus 4, which is a quarter. When x is a minus 2, it becomes minus a half. When x is 0, 1 over 0 becomes infinity, not known. Then we have a half there, and we have a quarter there. So when I'm looking at this particular graph, it's going to have the shape of a shape that looks like this: minus 2, minus 4, and then positive 2, positive 4. When x is minus 4, then we have minus a quarter. Let's talk about minus a quarter somewhere there. When x is minus 2, minus a half. When x is a 0, then it's going to be infinity. Infinity means something that cannot be described. And when x is a 2, we have a half. When x is 4, we have a quarter there. And let's talk about when x is very close to 0. For example, when x is minus 0.5, when x is minus 0.5, when x is minus 0.5, then we have 1 over 1 divided by minus 0.5. What is this? It's simply going to be a minus 2, and minus 2 is down this side. I want to get to a place where x is a very small number, like minus 0.01. 1 divided by minus 0.001, something very small. What is it going to be? Minus 1,000. You can see minus, but a very far number to the minus sign, which is minus 1,000. So we are likely to form an equation or a graph that looks like this. It doesn't touch the x-axis because there is no way 1 divided by anything will be 0. There is no way. 1 divided by anything will be 0. Let's talk about when x is a very small positive number. And let's talk about 1 divided by 0.0001 even. So it's 10,000. A very small positive number that's on the x-axis, but just to the right of the x-axis. So a very big positive number. So we can already see that our graph is coming from that side. And when x is very big, then we're talking about, let's even 100. 1 divided by 100 is going to be 0.01, a very small positive value of y, but doesn't touch the x-axis. So this is asymptotic at this particular point, and it is asymptotic at this point. This is what we call asymptote. Asymptote, this is asymptote. Asymptote means it's a graph that doesn't touch the axis. Even when they can walk forever, it doesn't touch. It will be very close, but it doesn't touch. It doesn't touch this side, it doesn't touch this side, it doesn't touch this side, it doesn't touch this side. So the graph of 1 over x is quite asymptotic. Fine. If that is now the case, then you can talk about this is the case where a now, this a is greater than 1 or equal to 1. We have a graph that looks like that. But when a is less than 1, when a is equals to, this is when a is greater than 0, find such a graph. When less than 0, where we have negative 1 there, like y is equals to 1 over x, and x and y will have different values. When x is minus 4, when x is minus 2, x is when x is 2, when x is 4, you'll have when x is minus 4, minus 1 over minus 4 becomes a quarter positive. Minus 1 over minus 2 becomes half positive. This one remains infinity because minus 1 over 0 is infinity. 2 divided by when x is 2, 1 negative 1 divided by divided by, which is minus a half, minus 1 divided by 4 minus a quarter. So this one now brings a different graph that looks like minus 2 minus 4 and then 2 and then 4. And you would see when x is minus 4, we have a quarter. When x is minus 2, we have a half. Of course, when x is 0, we have such a graph again. As explained above, when x is a 2, we have minus a half. When x is a 4, minus a quarter, and then that graph again, it behaves like that. This is now the graph of y is equals to minus 1 over x, and this is the graph of y is equals to 1 over x. So you can see when a is less than 0, then we have this kind of a graph. When a is greater than 0, we have this kind of a graph. So you may combine the two graphs in the same set of axes and of course find something that looks very beautiful. But for now, let us express our let me just say reciprocal graphs generally look like this. Unless they are transformed, then we will see what happens when they are transformed. Please get to my YouTube channel, subscribe and share widely, and of course, let people know that we have a wonderful channel which explains everything in mathematics. All right.